Single-serve coffee machines are frequently debated as symbols of convenience culture, but their form reveals something more specific. They are not designed to improve coffee itself. They are designed to remove friction from a moment that no longer tolerates it. Before single-serve machines, coffee preparation followed a predictable rhythm. Mornings had structure. Households often rose together, or at least within overlapping windows. Brewing a pot made sense because multiple people drank from it, or because the drinker expected to return for more. The machine assumed continuity. This system worked as long as time was shared and routines were stable. But as work schedules fragmented, households diversified, and mornings became staggered, the assumptions embedded in traditional coffee makers began to fail. Brewing a pot for one person felt inefficient. Brewing different strengths for different preferences felt impractical. Cleanup became disproportionate to reward. The problem was not that coffee tasted bad. It was that the process demanded more than the moment could give. Early attempts to solve this focused on speed, faster heating elements, smaller pots, programmable timers. But these solutions still assumed planning. You had to decide ahead of time. You had to measure. You had to clean. The mental overhead remained. Single-serve machines took a different approach. They removed choice rather than expanding it. The pod is not a delivery mechanism for coffee. It is a boundary. It defines quantity, strength, and outcome in advance. By sealing the variables, the machine eliminates decision points. The user is not asked to measure or evaluate. They are asked only to press a button. This design required trade-offs. Flavor complexity was constrained by standardization. Freshness became dependent on packaging rather than timing. Waste increased. But these costs were accepted because they addressed a deeper issue: attention. Single-serve machines assume the user is cognitively busy. Morning attention is fragmented by alarms, notifications, schedules, and obligations. In that state, even small decisions feel heavy. The machine succeeds by refusing to negotiate. Its physical form reflects this philosophy. Compact size fits crowded counters. Internal water reservoirs remove the need for plumbing or preparation. Buttons are few. Feedback is minimal. The machine signals readiness and completion, but not much else. It does not invite interaction beyond the necessary. The brewing process itself is concealed. Unlike traditional methods that expose filters, grounds, and flow, the single-serve machine hides transformation behind plastic and metal. This is intentional. Visibility invites evaluation. Concealment invites trust. The moment of realization comes when you notice how rarely users think about coffee quality while using these machines. Satisfaction is measured not by nuance, but by reliability. The coffee tastes like coffee, every time, without effort. This consistency reshapes behavior. People drink coffee later in the day. They brew single cups repeatedly instead of committing to volume. Kitchens become places of transit rather than preparation. Coffee shifts from ritual to utility. The machine does not replace cafes or manual brewing. It occupies a different psychological space. It is not for enjoyment. It is for readiness. The environmental and cultural critiques are real, but they miss the design logic. Single-serve machines did not create impatience. They adapted to it. They exist because modern life compressed mornings into narrow windows where friction feels intolerable. This is the invisible design at work. The machine's success lies not in what it adds, but in what it removes: waiting, measuring, cleanup, uncertainty. It turns coffee from a process into an outcome. When a single-serve machine works well, it disappears. You don't think about how the coffee was made. You think about the next thing you need to do. And that is the quiet truth behind its form. It exists not to celebrate coffee, but to protect momentum in a world that rarely slows down long enough to brew a full pot.